Good morning, my fellow yoga travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, live the life we love. It's Friday, so you know that it's my PowerPoint presentation day. Today, this is called the Collapse of the Sacred Canopy. You know, whether the canopy is the one that's used like in weddings, so it's not just the Jewish tradition that has the chuppah over the, the bride and the groom, but in the Indian tradition, right, they also have the canopy where the bride and groom, the divine couple, wait. But we're not just talking about the wedding canopy here. We're really talking about the sacred canopy that covered life, like an avatar, the living tree that is interconnected to everyone and everything. Sometimes I call it the sacred umbrella, right? It covers everything. Everything else we talk about is the subsystem within the sacred umbrella or the sacred canopy. Now, every teaching has a plausibility structure, which means it reinforces its own religious vision. It can't be proven in this world, but it doesn't matter. It's like Moses parting the Red Sea. You have to have faith for that which is impossible in this world. It begins where science ends, and it's the romance with your imagination. Did it really literally happen? Science would say impossible. Faith would say anything is possible with spirit. So it legitimates reality and offers the individual a sense of community, a sense of belonging. That's the most important thing in terms of creating coherence in a society, especially when the scale gets really big. How do you take people who have diverse views individually and mold them together to aspire to do one thing? Now, this is great. I wish the Republicans and the religious right would understand this. Their own Ronald Reagan, who they hail as one of their heroes, talked about the separation of church and state. We establish no religion in this country. We command no worship. We mandate no belief, nor will we ever. Church and state are and must remain separate. Wow, a voice of reason, even though he did a lot of other things which are not so nice, right? But we've stopped the cessation of coercion of religious institutions and political rationales. Right? We don't do this to people in the same way. We have subtler ways of making people conform, but not putting them on the rack anymore. And so, communication moves ahead. There's no guarantee of adherence to the old ways. Allegiance now is voluntary and always less than certain when new things come to help you challenge the old ways. So allegiance is no longer taken for granted. So as a result of that, first let's understand the reversal of modernization of the pre-industrial societies. It's close to impossible. There's no going back to the pre-hippie way. It ain't gonna happen. Technology is moving ahead. So fundamentalism has been stuck with the palsy of pragmatism as the guiding influence of its methodology. So we've lost a lot of the spiritual aspects of our life. That's why we're in such a crisis of meaning. But these are the words that are interesting to understand what's happened to the whole world. First, secularization. We're no longer thinking in religious or spiritual terms about everything. Everything is worldly knowledge now, not otherworldly knowledge. And then there's miniaturization. We've learned to encode so much power in such a small thing, this little microchip. And yet, what it contains is unbelievable when you think about how we've been able to do that. And then democratization. Whether we like free market capitalism or not, the idea of people being free and not under the thumb of any autocratic or oligarchic or theocratic system, everything else is deteriorating. It's obvious that doesn't work. We haven't perfected it ourselves, but it's much better than any other thing that's come through in terms of governing people. And here's the ultimate. In the 21st century, it combines secularization, miniaturization, and democratization all in one thing. Got to have your cell phone. But ultimately, remember, death radically changes our taken for granted sense of the world and life. Everything becomes dubious. Now we're facing the mystery, the unknown. No one has a good answer for it. That's why all of the ancient societies created a bulwark, a defense. That's the key when you're under pressure. It's a fortress built for your own good. Keep out the influences you don't want. Stay isolated, insular. So it's a bulwark against enemy. It's a French word. It's a condition where society provides little moral guidance to individuals, and then people run amok because they have nothing, no direction to follow. Sounds like that's where we are. Huh? But I love this quote from Christopher Hitchens. A lot of people don't like him for his outspoken ways and stuff. But human decency doesn't derive from religion, it precedes it. We all have an innate sense of what's right and wrong, like a baby, just right away. Baby knows a kind touch from a creepy touch. So, this is where the individual sphere of religion, private religion, it's your preference. You can believe, you cannot believe, but you don't force anybody else to believe or not believe either. So that's why the televangelists, they're just basically bureaucracies vying for their market share, and I think bullshitting you to take your money, as the study of their lives often show you how corrupt they really are. So since there's no longer a monopoly definition of what reality is in our pluralistic society, not to tolerate all denominations does not make sense if we're going to go forward. And so we've demythologized, we've exorcised all of the spiritual, supernatural elements. Now, like I say, is God supernatural? Yeah, God is super and God is natural. But the way we think about it, we don't believe this stuff anymore. We've taken it out. So there's a certain enchantment and mystery that no one has anymore because we don't believe that. And so finally, yoga, what is its psychological relevance to you? Well, it reveals that it causes mental illness, the right kind of mental illness, a radical discontinuity between your daily life and what the uber culture would have you live. No. And so if you want to be sane, you want to be funny, you want to be compassionate, you want to be wise, you want to help out, you want to cooperate, you want to bridge gaps, you want to be an ambassador of goodwill to the future, practice yoga. All right, I'll be gone for the next week, and look at my website, gabrielhalpern.com. I'll be back on the 30th, Wednesday, with Good Vibrations class, and our subject will be the meaning crisis. So if that's interesting for you, come and join us. Go to my website, sign up, cherry pick all the affirmations and the other stuff there while I'm away. I hope you enjoy it. In the meantime, stay in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Have a blessed day.